nobody, and I mean nobody, is ready for this deck. I took second place on my OTS with the strategy literally no one in the room saw coming. Brandeddespia fused with Lunalight. Yes, you heard that right. Two engines that should never work together, but strangely enough they do. Two fusion decks, who would have thought? You get insane extensions, unbreakable boards, and honestly the most powerful fusion monsters Yu-Gi-Oh has ever printed. I honestly thought this deck was going to go undefeated at my locals. I was honestly sweeping every round I was playing all the way up until the finals. Ultimately going X1, 3-1 specifically. And honestly, the only reason I lost in the finals, it's gonna sound cliche, but honestly, I lost because of myself. I was already at that point, I was excited playing the deck, especially doing as well as I was doing. However, it was a day I usually don't go to locals, and it started like at 7 p.m. Didn't really even start till like 7:30, so I was kind of already frustrated because people were arriving late and I kind of had to just wait around for everyone. And next thing you know, 40 minutes goes by and we're still waiting for people. So honestly, wasn't in the best headspace to begin with. So by the final round, I was already burned out. It was later than I usually play Yu-Gi-Oh! And I did just want to go home. And I was also going against Yummy Mitsurugi, which I don't have too much experience playing with. And honestly, I put the deck together yesterday. I am recording the day after. It's now Saturday. I went to locals last night on Friday. I've been seeing around with the YCS coming this weekend, mixing stuff up with Lunalight to try and make it as competitive as possible. I know Branded is being mixed with Draco Tail a lot. But yeah, honestly, the deck worked wonders. Still messing around with it. I don't know if this is the correct ratios, but yeah, let's just go straight into the deck list. So for the branded portion, we have 2 copies of Branded Fusion, 1 copy of Fallen of Albaz, and 3 copies of the new card, the Fallen and the Virtuous. So that's pretty much it for the in-engine cards. Obviously, Branded Fusion is a good starter. Just to show you guys kind of how the deck works, you pretty much rely on your Albion in the extra deck, Albion the Branded Dragon, in case you guys are new to Branded or you haven't been following my channel the past couple weeks. So Albion requires 1 Fallen of Albaz plus 1 Light Monster. And then the main effect Albion has, if this card is Fusion Summon, you can Fusion Summon 1 level 8 or lower Fusion monster from your extra deck, except Albion, except itself, by banishing Fusion materials mentioned on it from your hand, field, and or graveyard. So this is basically a polymerization, banishing from the graveyard, which is what Lunalight does. Pretty crazy how the decks kind of merge together. And of course, Branded Fusion is such an overpowered card. If you guys want to see combo lines, let me know, leave a comment. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the in-engine. Fallen and Virtuous is such a broken card. It's a go in second card, being able to pop your own normal summon and then to set another one of these at the end phase. Honestly, super busted card. This will now be the 4th deck I've mixed this little engine in within the past couple weeks. I am mixing Fallen and Virtuous into Sky Striker. I'm mixing it into Stun decks and then now into Lunalight. But yeah, this is pretty much it for the in-engine stuff. Then for the rest of the deck list, very standard. I just posted a combo video and deck profile for Lunalight. Nothing's honestly changed, I would say. I might have cut down a few of the cards. Let me see. Let's see. Yeah, honestly, out of this stuff right here, nothing has really changed. Everything is very standard from the last video. If you guys want to see in-depth analysis regarding card-by-card stuff, go watch the last video. I do a combo video with just Lunalight stuff as well. Then going over the rest of the deck, we have 3 Masquerades, 2 Perfume, 1 Fusion, 3 Tenki, Polymerization, Fullest Burial, Pot of Prosperity, Called by the Grave. So that's pretty much it for the consistency cards. Honestly, the deck is super consistent, having 3 copies of Tenki, Foolish Burial, Pot of Prosperity to dig, Called by the Grave just for the hand traps, Masquerade, obviously a super busted card. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the spell cards. Then going over some more Gwen second cards, we have 3 Book of Eclipse, 3 Ash Blossom, and 3 copies of Fualos. Again, 9 more Gwen second cards. Honestly, this is another Gwen second card, Fallen and Virtuous, and Branded Fusion, and honestly even Fallen of Albaz is a Gwen second card. It's pretty much like a super poly. But yeah, deck has no problems breaking boards, Gwen second, and our entire side deck is pretty much dedicated to Gwen second as well. So now going into the extra deck, we have 2 copies of Albion, 1 Mirrorjade, 1 Rimbrum, the Striking Dragon, and 1 Dragon that Devours the Dogma. So we have 5 cards dedicated to the Branded engine. Again, Albion fuses, no pun intended, fuses so well with the Lunalight cards. It's so good, utilizing your Branded Fusion, getting your Fallen of Albaz in the graveyard, creating like a card like Rimbrum, which requires Fallen of Albaz plus a Beast, Beast Warrior, or Wing Beast monster. So Branded Fusion gets our Fallen of Albaz plus our Lunalight cards in the graveyard. And then after Fallen of Albaz is in the graveyard, and then we have a card like Rimbrum. He has a second effect in the graveyard. So during your opponent's turn, while this card is in your graveyard, quick effect, you can target 1 Fallen Albaz in your graveyard, special summon either that monster or this card, and then banish the other. So then you can go ahead and special summon your Fallen of Albaz on your opponent's turn. So then you can go ahead and special summon your Fallen of Albaz, and then on special summon Fallen of Albaz can then discard a card, use itself plus one of your opponent's monsters and go into cards like Mirrorjade, which requires one Fallen of Albaz plus one Fusion, Synchro, XYZ, or Link monster. So being able to use your opponent's boss monsters with Fallen of Albaz, such a good combination. And then there's also cards like the Dragon that Devours the Dogma, which requires Fallen of Albaz plus one light or dark monster plus one effect monster. So super generic cost. And then of course with Fallen of Albaz, this card states if this card is no more special summon, you can discard one card, fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters on either field as fusion material, including this card. But you cannot use other monsters you control as fusion material. So cards like the Dragon that Devours the Dogma is pretty much a board wipe with Fallen of Albaz in the graveyard, because you use the Fallen of Albaz plus one light or dark monster, which light or dark monsters are everywhere at the moment, and then one effect monster. So again, utilizing Fallen of Albaz to go into the Dragon that Devours the Dogma, utilizing two monsters from your opponent's field, and then on the special summon, the Dragon that Devours the Dogma, you can go ahead and empty your opponent's graveyard as well. And then again, Branded Fusion is such a powerful card. Fallen of Virtuous is such a powerful card. A board wipe. It gives the deck some recursion. It dodges hand traps. Again, the utilization for this little engine, I don't know why more people aren't utilizing it. I feel like this ratio is perfect as well. Like these two cards are perfect. And then maybe I would cut one Albion the Branded Dragon, honestly, because we can't honestly really use his effect to go into any of our Lunalight cards, because none of them are level 7 or below except for our Perfume Dancer. And I mean, technically you can utilize its effect to go into Perfume Dancer, but I don't think you ever really would. But it is something you can utilize. Speaking of that, let's just go into the rest of the extra deck. We have 2 copies of Leo Dancer, 2 copies of Liger Dancer, 2 copies of Perfume, and we have our end board pieces. This is pretty standard, I feel. I did cut a lot of the fluff from my pure Lunalight stuff, but these are pretty much the cards you're going to go into every turn. I do miss the 3rd Liger Dancer, honestly. Aside from that, you can get away with 2 copies of Lunalight Leo and 2 copies of Perfume. Obviously, you want to keep Tiger King in here for consistency. Little Knight and Baguska are just standard end board pieces. Cross Sheep as well, getting into your combos. So that's pretty much it for the extra deck. And again, if you guys do want more in-depth explanations regarding why I chose these cards or just combo lines, I can go more in-depth regarding that in a combo tutorial. Leave a comment if you guys want to see that as well. Again, the only change I would say, I'd probably cut a copy of Albion and then maybe put Dugaris back in here. I feel like that is one change I would immediately do. I did miss Dugaris a little bit, especially for kind of helping to go for a game when you can't utilize your Liger Dancer. And plus, just the draw 2 aspect is really good. So that's probably the only difference. I do have Albion in here, just 2 of them, because again, it works really well with Fallen of Virtuous, being able to set another one. You pop either your card or one of your opponent's cards, send an Albion, and then Albion's effect, or in the end phase, you get to set another one. So that's why I have 2 copies in here. But yeah, so that's probably the only change I might consider doing, putting Dugaris instead of 2 copies. Now going over the side deck, 3 triple tack, 2 dark roller, 3 forbidden droplet, 1 Talons, 1 Regeki, 1 Lightning Storm, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, and 3 Droll. So as you can see, I do not own heavy polymerization. I'm not really a big Lunalight player. I did just recently pick the deck up a month ago. So I'm still deciding if it's worth spending the, I think it's like $60 for the playset. Obviously that card is super busted going second, kind of a brick going first, which is why I honestly even decided to do the branded stuff. Branded is really good going first and second, and it kind of takes the place of that. And if you watch my channel, I'm always thinking budget mentality. How can I make the deck as strong as possible and as budget as possible? So with this specific build, I did decide to cut the heavy polymerization. Again, if this ends up being the main deck I'm going to be playing in regards to meta relevancy, I would definitely pick up at least 1 to 2 copies of it. I did go over in my Lunalight build. If you want to play this deck as budget as possible, you could cut 2 gold Leos and add 2 more copies of Fractal, which is like a 25-cent card on TCG Player. And Lunalight Gold Leo is I think around $11. So if you wanted to save like $20 and just get 2 more copies of Fractal, that's one other recommendation I would do in regards to all my budget players out there. Aside from that, the deck is super cheap. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think there's any other changes I would do. Again, I did feel like I lost today. I didn't get first place because of my own misplays and just not being in the best headspace by the end of the night after playing over 3 hours of Yu-Gi-Oh! One other change I'm thinking of doing is adding Albion the Sanctified Dragon, just adding some toxicity to this deck. And yeah, if you watch my channels, you already know this is one of my favorite cards. I add it to a lot of my decks, Blue Eyes decks, branded decks, just being able to make the end board even stronger. But yeah, if you guys want to see more of this deck or more of my mindset behind creating the deck, leave a comment, but I'll catch you guys in the next video.